It's Lori.
Yes.
And Terry is at the lodge, and I have a sneaking suspicion.
I'm here, guys.
About time you showed up.
Sorry about that. I had a little internet issues here, and my light isn't working, so I'm sitting out on the front porch, so it's freezing. So, anyways, I was just gonna take off and go without you, Terry. I thought maybe you're out tracking the big one, and you weren't even gonna stop for training tonight. Oh no, sorry guys. You just never know what you're gonna get up here. It's like a bowl of bits and bytes.
No.
So
everything's figure-outable, bro.
Yeah, everything's figure-outable, but I'm glad you guys all jumped on and got started here. And so anyways, welcome everybody. Thanks for being patient while I dealt with sort of technical difficulties up here in the wilds of Quebec. So far, no luck, but my group the week before were fortunate enough. They filled a couple tags, so now I got a new group here, and believe it or not, my last group of the year. And I never thought I'd be excited to say that, but I'm kind of excited that it's the last group of the year, to be honest with you. But I'm very, very fortunate that I'm able to do calls from up here and sort of juggle two balls at the same time. And so welcome, everybody. Thank you for your patience. And I'm really, really excited to have Carol Romkema doing our call tonight, because first of all, Carol is very, very fortunate. We all know, maybe you've heard Carol and her grandson had a little bit of a quadding accident. I think about that every time I go out, Carol, in the morning here hunting on my quad. I think about it. Sometimes when you least expect it, these, incidents can happen, and that's why they're called accidents. But certainly we are very, very grateful that you have healed. We're grateful that your grandson was okay and nobody was more seriously hurt than what they were. So we're very, very grateful. I'll just do a quick little introduction. Carol and her husband, they farm in South Dakota. They have 3 grown children, with a fifth on the 3 grown children and 4 grandchildren, with a 5th one on the way. Congratulations. Carol's experience with direct sales and network marketing happened almost 24 years ago, when she was faced with, a financial crisis in her life, and she turned to direct sales to earn some extra income that her and her family so preciously needed. And she was very, very successful from the perspective of financially. She had an incredible career with, several years earning 6-figure income, building a multi-million-dollar organization, and promoting to the highest level in leadership in that company. Many things changed in companies, as they do over the years. Things change. I say sometimes the only thing that remains constant is change. And so, after wearing Vox Life products and sharing them with family and friends for a year, Carol decided to resign from the position in her other company and came on to doing Vox on a full-time capacity, and has had great passion spreading the Vox message, joining and aligning with Jay and the rest of us in our Vox Life mission. And that happened in May of 2019. And she's never looked back. She continues to, you might have seen Carol does some amazing lives on her wellness page. And like a lot of us, she truly feels that God brought this mission to her, and that she is grateful for that and has the passion to share with others. So I'm just so elated that you're feeling better, Carol, and that you are able to do this call. And I know you're a great leader. I felt that from the first time I met you, and looking forward to hearing your training tonight on your backstory can become your vision, living out your purpose with passion. So welcome, Carol Romkema, take it away.
Hi, thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. I was ready just to do this call without you if you were going to stay out there hunting. So we were going to be okay. I got thumbs up from everybody, so we would have been okay.
No,
but Terry kind of shared some of my story, and so I have notes. I used to do a ton of training with my other company, and actually one of the things that I really treasured the most when I stepped away and came here was for team vaccination and for the leadership. Then it was primarily, you know, Terry and Paul. I was able to meet them pretty early on, and but so many of you have stepped up. And so I was really happy to stay in the background, but I recently just kind of went on a soul searching journey of my own. And so my hope is tonight that if just one of you can benefit from what I'm going to share, any part of what I'm going to share, that that'll just be my answered prayer, because I don't have any kind of a slideshow, a PowerPoint. I told Terry I do really well just speaking from my heart. And so this might be quicker than other trainings. I don't know, but I'm just going to start telling you. He already told you some of my backstory. Some of the parts that weren't in there is how desperate we were. It's almost 25 years ago, and how shy I was and scared to talk in front of people. I could have been voted least likely to ever do party plan sales. And so the personal growth that I experienced was probably one of the biggest gifts that I received from being thrown into sales. So sometimes your backstory, or the thing that you think is the worst possible thing that could ever happen to you. For us, it was nearly losing our farm. And my husband was already trucking, I was already working, we had 3 kids that were active. Like, what else can you add to that schedule except a home-based business? So if somebody's on here and you need valuable money, you can do it here. It isn't easy, it's hard work, but where else can you do it in the minutes, the moments, the little bits of time that you have? Where else could you do that? Nowhere. And where else can you make sure you don't miss the kids' games or the grandkids' activities? So I fell in love with direct sales. It was, like I said, party plan, and I mastered that. I knew how many parties it took to make $1,000, and I was really, really good at promoting the business and bringing in lots of people that also had debt and needed, you know, saving grace for their debt with income. So I got really good at that. And that's really all it takes. If you have a passion for whatever business you're in or whatever product you have, you can build it into something incredible if you believe in the company, you believe in the product, and you believe in the mission. And so something I'm sure we all do this, but I hope every single one of us uses all of the products, or at least the ones we need, and that our family members do, because that's so important. We can't speak from sincerity if we're just trying to sell something that we think is too expensive to wear, we think doesn't work. Like, I wouldn't be without Neurovax patches. When I was down, I put the Harmony on, so I wouldn't go 1 minute without either one of those technologies, because typically I wear socks. So that's so very important. But back then, I built my business because I had a passion to help people get out of debt. I did a really good job. My mantra would always be, is for my kids and for myself and for my team, you can do anything you want if you want to do it badly enough. And so sometimes I had to remind myself of that here now, because party plan was very different than this business, and this business changed a whole lot in the last year, as we know. So I remember celebrating my $1 million when we hit that was a milestone. And I remember what mattered the most to me is I figured out how much commissions our team would have earned, and I could envision the prom dresses and the weddings and the college and the books and all of those things that we help families pay for. So I think it's important for us to really understand and realize what a difference we make. And if we don't have a large team yet, we need to just really envision that person that has better balance, that doesn't have pain, and really know that what you do every single day, whether how much time, if you have 30 minutes or 2 hours, whatever time you put into it, that really, really matters, and you are making a difference. So as Terry said, I thought I would live and die and retire and always be in that other company. So it kind of caught me off guard when all of a sudden, like, I was loving sharing this product, and then I had to go do my other business. And that happened for several months. And all of a sudden I thought, God kind of works miraculously, because he kind of just let that business kind of start dwindling for me. It would be really hard to walk away from a huge paycheck, so he took care of that. But I realized that what I love to do is to help people. I love to know when I laid my head on the pillow, I made a difference. And the other business kind of became a lot of hobbyists and a lot of real part-time people. And they didn't need me as much. But when I was here and I was sharing our products, and I was seeing, like, when people would give you a hug when you were doing an event, and you'd put a pair of socks on them, and they'd walk around the event and come back and give you a hug and have tears in their eyes and want more socks. That was super rewarding for me. And all of a sudden, one day I just remember going, oh my gosh, like, I absolutely love doing this. I want to tell you how I heard about Vox Life. You don't believe in how God intervenes. So in my other business, when I was losing my passion, they had put one level higher. That I was a senior executive director for years. They threw up national director, and I thought, well, maybe I'm just bored. So maybe I have to just strive for that national director. And there was a dear friend of mine from Canada that was also striving for national director. And she and I teamed up, we mentored each other, we cheered each other on up until the last day we could get sales in to see if we both qualified. We were just like, did you make it? Did you make it? And so we did, and we celebrated that. And so we were going to be attending a retreat, kind of like a treat for us, because we'd reached that level, and we were rooming together in Arizona. And that person was Angie Hall. And Angie and I were rooming together, and it was spring in Arizona, and it was hot, and she's putting socks on when she went to bed. And I'm like, I'm only telling you this story to tell you how easy it is to share our products. She was just putting socks on, and I'm like, what in the world? Like, are you crazy? She said, these are my magic socks. I'm thinking, you are from Canada, but you're in Arizona. You don't need socks in May. And she said, oh, these are my magic socks. She said, and then she went on to tell me Arnie's story. And I had remembered praying for Arnie when he was in that really bad accident. I knew how badly he was hurt. And she was saying he no longer uses a walker. He no longer uses, needs a cane anymore. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I don't know if she told me or if I read it in information she gave me, but somewhere it said you're 8 times less likely to fall when you're wearing our technology. I had just lost my dad 2 weeks prior to that. And he had fallen in a facility, a care facility, and he passed away 2 weeks later, just in excruciating pain from a broken bone that he had in his pelvis. And so I kept thinking, oh my gosh, like, could this have helped my dad? I had, a mom that had fallen, an aunt that had fallen. And so that kind of triggered me. And Angie, of course, being the good person she was, she had extra pairs of socks, and she threw me one and said, here, try these and see if you sleep better. And I never sleep when I travel, and I slept like a baby for the nights that we were there. So that was enough. I'm like, okay, I need to get some more socks. I want to make sure I get them for my mom, my aunt. Well, being, smart people that we are, I signed my husband up so I could get the discount. I told my company what I was doing, but I wanted to get a lot of products. So I signed up for the discount. So if some of you are on here, my guess is the people that sign up for the discount probably don't join these Monday night trainings. But what I'm going to tell each of you, if you have people that sign up for the discount, just for family, we call it family and friends discount. I don't promote that, but if you have people like that, don't ever just think that that's all they'll ever be. Because once they see the difference it makes in their life and in other people's lives, sometimes they get the bug for the mission. So just don't ever write them off as that's all they're ever going to be. I make sure that the people that are just very casual, they always know about the specials, because those people are not on my team page. Those people aren't on Team Vox Nation. They're probably not paying any attention when they get something from Vox Life in form of an email. So I message them every single time, and every single time 2 or 3 of them will thank me. I'll say, just in case you hadn't seen this, want to make sure, and they end up getting in on that sale. So as Terry said, I stepped away from my other business, love doing this full time, got in a bunch of events, bought gold packs, was rolling in, everything was going good, and then boom, COVID hits the spring of 2020, and everything changed because the events canceled, and that was primarily how I was doing my sales. And so I knew this from all my experience. You have to change with changing times. That's one of the things my other company didn't do. And we are so blessed to have Jay Dollywall with, like, the promos he comes out and the bonuses he offers and the trainings that he offers. We have the amazing leadership here, and we should be so grateful for that, because nothing is ever going to go back the way it is. Like, so if you're sitting here waiting for COVID to like run its course, be done, and everything will be back, I'm just going to tell you, nothing ever goes back the way it was. We probably will have events start again, but they'll always be different. So it's important for us to find new ways to do the business. We must be constant learners. We have to adapt, and we have to move forward. And social media right now is a great way for us to embrace and learn more and more all the time. Learn how to do curiosity posts. Learn how to use hashtags. I just recently had a 3-day training, and seriously, I didn't know the power in using hashtags. Follow up. You know, this has opened my eyes to learn more different ways. I'm so grateful for Deanna and Carla. And I mean, they've got the whole outline for mock online parties. And, you know, at first I thought, oh, I don't know if I want to do that, but try it. Like, I have my first online started today already. The host is thinking about joining. And I was like, oh my gosh, think about it. An online party, you're in front of this group of people for 7 days. They have a chance to get to know you, your personality. Your chance of recruiting or bringing in partners, team members, whatever you want to call them, is probably better doing online parties than it was when we stood at events. So always look for new ways. That's what we need to do now. The trainings that are offered through Team Vaccination are phenomenal. And like, I have a rule, if I can't join live, and you very rarely see my face. I'm usually just have my image up there. I don't join live because I'm doing dishes or I'm doing something, but I always join, or I make sure I listen to it within 24 hours. Because if we think, oh, we'll catch it some other time, we never do. So if I can't hit a Monday training or a Thursday call, I listen to it within 24 hours. But one of the things that I always taught in my other business, and I'm starting to talk back to myself, because I was kind of fine just to sell the product. I love leading my team, but I was kind of okay that it wasn't really big until just recently. When you lay around on the couch having to heal for a month, you have a lot of time to think about things, and COVID's hit, so everything's different. And I remember telling my team before, you can only earn so much money. You can only reach out to so many people by yourself. Why wouldn't you find partners to build the business with you? Because you earn income, and we were getting our product out to other people. Why wouldn't we want to do that? So more than ever, I have a passion to find partners to build the business with me and to help just spread this Vox Life mission with all of the amazing types of technology that we have. So let me grab my notes here. I want to give you some things to take away. So I'm more of like, I hope I inspired you, because there's some things I want you to take away. I live in a very rural area. There aren't very many people that live where I live. It's pretty remote out here. I had no college degree. I was shy. I was scared. I knew nothing about business. I didn't own a computer or a cell phone, but that was 24 years ago. And I just like to learn. You can Google just about anything you want. If you want to learn how to do a group, if you don't know how to do a group on Facebook, Google it, it'll tell you. So there's so many ways we can learn. I love being a constant learner. I love to be a reader. I love to always invest in myself. But here's some takeaways so I want you to know, like, you're never too old, you're never too young, you're never too shy, you're never too lack of social media, lack of technology. If you are willing and want to learn, you can learn. And there's like, you just see a whole tribe of people right here that would be happy to help you. But I also want to give you some takeaways of things I've done for the last 24 years and really have re-embraced And this is where I said, when you're living your purpose, you will have a passion for it. So if you are doing another full-time job and you dread going to work, find a way to either get a different job or build this business so you can let it go, because life's too short and God created us for a purpose. And I believe mine is to be an encourager of others and supporter of others and helper of others. Like I've always felt that in my other business, I helped women fire their bosses, you know, stay home with their kids, be able to let go of their full-time jobs. And so here I want to do that again, as well as help people feel better. So some things I know for sure that you may know or may not know is how important it is to write down what you want to accomplish. Right now, you should write down what you want to accomplish by the end of the year, like either income-wise, or if you have never brought on a team member, do you want to? Because I will tell you, as soon as you have a partner, and I know my partner that lived right here near me that just moved to Virginia, I couldn't have done what I did without my Carla. I know we have, that Terry has a Carla, but I have a Carla too. She lived right by me. We did events together and we built this together and it was so fun. So if you have a partner in the business, you'll grow faster and it'll be way more fun. Maybe that's one of your goals, or maybe it's monetary, or maybe it's customers, but have a 2-month goal, have a 6-month goal, and have a goal of where you want to be by the end of 2021. And the most important thing you need to do is know why you want to reach that goal. Why is that important? Which loved one is it going to benefit? How's that going to feel? So in other words, you know, maybe you want to, if you're a young mom, maybe you want to pay for activities for your kids and you just know how excited they'll be and how much they've been waiting to do that. If you have a monetary goal, you need to know what that money is going to pay for, and you need to know and feel what that's going to feel like when you get to accomplish that. You know who it's going to bless. Then we have to make a plan, because just wanting it really bad in our heart, that only goes so far. You know that only 8% of the people have goals and only 3% of the people write them down. So I encourage everybody on here to be the 3%. Just writing it down makes a huge difference. And I'm going to give you some other tips that make a huge difference here in a minute too. Something recently that I know that I didn't have is they call it a DMO, or daily method of operation. Because if you're a farm wife, life always happens. You know, they're always like, hey, can you come and get us over in this field? Hey, we got a flat tire over here. You've got to have a daily method of operation that you are committed to, that no matter what life throws your way. And maybe that means getting up earlier in the morning or staying up later at night. For some of you, if you don't have crazy interruptions, it's just being committed to doing it. A daily method of operation can take as little as 30 minutes or 2 hours or whatever you want to invest in it. But having that and setting a timer is really important, because you know what a lot of us do? Here's what I was notorious for doing was, you know, we go on to put a post on, you know, either our page, or I have a wellness page. The reason I have a wellness page, like Terry talked about, is in the beginning, that's how I kind of flew undercover with my other company. Like Jay and I could be there. They didn't want me to be spewing it out onto my my personal Facebook page. So I had to have one where I could post whatever I wanted. It has benefited me. I'm not saying to do it or not to do it, but it's been a good thing, because I do feel like I can box vomit on there because they've asked to be there. I try to, you know, give some other good benefits as well. And I'm just doing right now on 7 tools that helped me when I was recovering. And so I like to add value, but I also feel like there's no shame. I don't have to care about throwing all the information about our products out there. So I do have a page like that. But like I could go there to do a live video or to do a post, and all of a sudden, like, ding, the notifications come up and, oh, Terry's live. Oh, I should go see what Terry's talking about. Click, and then, oh, boom. And I'm squirrel, I'm all over the place. So setting a timer and you saying, I'm gonna get my live video done and I'm gonna, you know, reach out to 2 people, that keeps you focused during that time. I've always had a planner and I haven't used it really well the last year. This last 2 weeks, I've been faithful with writing down what I want to get accomplished tomorrow and checking it off as I get it done. And so example for me, I do like to do a live video a day. I like to make sure I reach out, and I don't have like big crazy goals. I like to reach out to 2 people about the business, and I like to follow up with like 5, and that's each day. And so that's just what I want to do. Right now, I'm learning to do online parties. So I had to have a block of time. I actually thought, if I'm going to I went through the training, I listened to Carla and Deanna's training, but rather than studying it, whatever, I just thought, I booked a party and I'm copying and pasting and learning as I go. Today I learn, today's day, and tomorrow I'll learn tomorrow. So we don't have to perfect it because nobody knows what we are going to say or do anyway. And if you don't do live video, that's my best advice. Go live, do live. It's only in their newsfeed for a little bit and it goes down. And they say if you're imperfect, it's better anyway. So really get comfortable with just jumping on live. I really encourage you. But have that daily method of operation, have that plan in place. I suggest it the night before because then you've got it already. One of the things that I just recently went back to too, this was timely because Terry and I talked about me doing this about 2 months ago or longer, and having a month or 6 weeks to reflect, and then this new burning desire. I feel like I even have more to bring to you, but when I was really wanting to get more done with my other business, I had a mentor and a leader that encouraged me. I don't know if, has anybody ever heard of the book Miracle Morning? Is anybody familiar with that? Yeah, Joanne Oswald is. I figured you would. I can see you wave and I don't see everybody, but Miracle Morning made a huge difference for me because when I get up and I want to have a morning routine, it kind of included all of the things that I really should do. And I'm going to tell you what they are. There's I love acronyms, and so does Hal Elrod that wrote this book. He was actually in a terrible accident, wasn't supposed to live, wasn't supposed to walk. And this is just kind of his personal, but it's SAVERS. And I'm going to tell you what those SAVERS stands for. Then I'm going to tell you the order I do them in and why. And you can pick your own. But Miracle Morning is a very short, very easy read. Again, if you want to Google Miracle Morning and you didn't write fast enough, you'll be able to find this information. But the first S is silence. So just to have, whether you meditate or pray or sit in silence, so often we jump out of bed, grab our phones, start checking Facebook, check the weather, go back and check messages, and our day is running us instead of us running our day. So starting out in silence is really, really important. And how I personally do it is my alarm goes off and I just lay there and I have my silence before I even get out of bed. But you can, if you're like a meditator or something, you might like to do that different, okay? The next one is affirmations, speaking out loud, who you want to be, who you are, what you believe in. The next one, the V, is visualization. That is so important. I'm not good with doing a vision board. When I get it done, I'll probably shout from the rooftops and show it to you. But I envision a whole lot in my mind. I know what I want to do. The next one is exercise, and none of these have to take very long. If you want to do 5 minutes of each, or 10 minutes of each, or 1 minute of each, but do something of each. The next one is read, and the last one is scribe or write. Here's the order I do them in, okay? And I'll tell you why. You'll probably laugh at one of them, but I do silence first. I lay in bed, I told you. Then I get up and I have a couple devotionals I like to read, and then I'm just reading in a book. And I can read, like today I had a little more time. I think I read for 30 minutes before I moved on. But if you don't have much time, but read something that either inspires you or motivates you or grounds you or whatever that is. So have something small and then maybe have another book. But I would say this reading should be something that benefits or improves you, like not some novel, okay? The next, so first I lay in silence, I get up and read, and then I write. And I just ordered the 5-minute journal because I like the layout. Some things you want to write maybe are gratitude, some things you're committed to do today, whatever that is. But the 5-minute journal, I went to Amazon. It was a book that was suggested. Actually, when I went to Miracle Morning, that book was suggested, and I didn't get it last time. So today I just did some gratitude, what I wanted to accomplish, and some things I was proud of. But just writing, journaling. It could be any kind of journaling you like to do. If you don't journal, that's a great thing to do. So I do those 3 things, 1 in bed, 2 over here by my desk, and then I throw on my tennis shoes and I head out for a walk because I love fresh air and I love just to get out in nature. If you follow me on Facebook, you see a lot of my pictures of sunsets and sunrises and cows and dogs and some grandkids, but I love to walk. And so depending, today it was snowing a little bit here in South Dakota, so I walked fast and I didn't walk that far. Some days I might walk 2 or 3 miles if I have time, but I only walked about 3/4 of a mile today. But while I'm walking, I'm visualizing the things that I want Jay and I to have by the end of 2021. So we've settled because we had this shift in gears and change in gears, but I have a huge vision now for where we want to be. So I envision that and I think about it. I can close my eyes because I'll hear pickups coming down my road. Envision it. And here's the reason why. And the last one I do is affirmations. Because if I'm going to do, as somebody recently said in my training, raise a hallelujah, and I'm going to be bold with my affirmations that I am good enough and I'm smart enough and I love to learn and I believe I can be a 6-figure income earner again. Like Jay might be like, what is she doing? Because that's not his thing. Like he's a farmer and he'd be like, where is Carol losing it? But on the country road, the only one, maybe the coyotes and a couple dogs might hear me, but I can raise my hand, I can proclaim those. And that's something they say to do it in front of a mirror. That would probably be best. But if you're not accustomed to speaking positive things over yourself, the mindset and the power of the mind is crazy. Like when I started my other business, it was so good, so quick. I just believed I was a rock star and I continued to be a rock star for years. But if we start spiraling down and we start having where our checks aren't covering our bills, we can soon think, I'm a loser. I'm never gonna make this rock again. This business isn't gonna work. People won't believe in it. It's too weird. We can talk ourselves into a funk, but if you speak positive over yourself, be very convincing of yourself, there's power in those words. So if you take nothing else away, because these things that I just talked about, they're gonna benefit your business, but they're gonna benefit your whole life. Like if you're struggling with weight loss, say, I'm going to be a healthy weight. Healthy weight doesn't always mean like skinny. It's like, I'm going to be a healthy weight. My blood sugar will be good. My blood pressure will be good. Whatever it is, speak positive, start washing those things through your mind, okay? So you need to invest in yourself just right away in the morning each day. And like I said, when you're reading, read positive things, read self-development. There's tons and tons of things available. One of the gifts I gave myself was Rank Makers. I was so blessed that Jay invited Ray Higdon to come and speak to the directors and above, like when we had a live event, and everything that Ray Higdon said just resonated, and it was me. If he's not your guy, find somebody you listen to a podcast or something that really resonates, that you fully believe in. But for 70 cents a day, I have been fed very well from Rank Makers. So if you have questions, there are lots of us that are members of that. I think Paul and maybe Terry are planning a 2-day virtual event like November 13th and 14th. That should be on all of our calendars. You guys, when there's free learning available where you can be inspired and educated, you just shouldn't miss it. So mark those dates down. And Jay did a mastermind with us. Jay Dollywall did a mastermind with the directors, and we could each invite somebody recently. And oh my gosh, like I had 3 people I wanted to invite, actually 4, and I could only invite 1. So I was over the moon excited when he made the mastermind that he did. It's 6 hours, it's 3 2-hour trainings. When he made those available for 7 days, and you're in the middle of that 7 days, so you have 6 hours of phenomenal training that will help you not only business-wise, but also personally, okay? Anytime you listen to somebody with great wisdom and a good heart, you're always going to become a better person. You can listen to that until the 21st of October. I'm pretty sure that's right. And one of the things, this is probably really when I've always had a heart for Vox Life, and I have tons of customers, and I've got a pretty nice team, but it's not good enough just to be satisfied with the people that kind of stumble upon you. I really got my fire lit, and actually the middle of those masterminds, the second one, I actually have to go listen to because I was really, really not feeling good that night, and I tried to listen and had to get off. But he talked about writing 3 stories, and I was committed enough to mastermind that, as awful as I felt, I made myself write those. I actually sent it to the wrong email address, Terry. When I didn't get the bonus, I thought, what the heck? So I resent it to Opportunity and said, I sent it to Ender. I don't know why I did that. And I even said to him, these might be full of typos and not make sense. I'm so sick, but I'm committed to Mastermind and I'm going to do the work. So I'm hoping I'll still get my $500 bonus, but if I don't, it was worth it. I still did the work. So what I want to say is just show up and do the work. And it will bless you and others. But Jay said something in that training that almost brought tears to my eyes. I put a big heart by it. And this is like what we should feel about what we do. I am proud to be an evangelist for something that has such a profound impact on people's lives. Okay? I'm proud to be an evangelist. I might like the word missionary better. I'm proud to be a missionary for something that has such a profound impact on people's lives. We help people and we give people hope, and there's no better business we could be in. But what I'm opening my heart to a little bit more from now to the end of 2021 is to help people physically, help people neurologically with their physical ailments, but I also want to remember what a benefit an extra $400 or $500 a month could be. And with the promos we have right now, anybody could have that, just sending their link out to family and friends and people they know. So I want to have an impact on more people financially as well. So that's kind of my heart. It's kind of where I am. I hope there was a little bit of value. Like I said, my main thing I wanted to do, thanks Joanne, I love watching your lives. The main thing that I hope that I do is always bring to you that anybody can do this. There's a whole army of people there to support you and to steer you where the right information was. I had amazing leaders with Angie and Arnie Hall. They are awesome. But I also turned to Terry and a little bit to Paul in the very beginning for questions that I needed answers that they weren't even sure yet. And so there's no excuse to not do anything you want to with this business because you've got all the great leadership and all the great support here. So that's what I got for you tonight, Terry.
Carol, fabulous. Absolutely. You know, the nice thing is about this training tonight is it's from the heart. And that's what's so key about our business. We don't have people that are up on a pedestal, not even Jay. And if anybody's ever listened to Jay before, he doesn't put himself up on a pedestal. He you know, claims always that this is a gift. This is a download. He's the custodian. We're all the custodians of this technology. But there was a couple really key points that you made, and DMO, daily method of operation, I think is so vital to have a plan, because, you know, not having a planning, you know, failing to plan is planning to fail. And so, you know, writing down a daily method operation, it doesn't necessarily mean we always get to it per se, but having it written down gives us that plan to shoot for, right? Because we don't have to be perfect. And I love the fact that you said, you know, people on this, we have the, you know, family and friends discount, and we have people that have you know, joined to get the best pricing possible. And that's great. We love you guys. And we're so grateful that you're here. But those of you that, you know, are here to learn from leaders like Carol, take those points, invest in yourself. You are so worth it. We all have greatness. You've heard me say it before. And, you know, this timing for Carol to train had to be right for Carol, not for me, not for anybody else. This had to be right. And I think she did just an absolutely magnificent job. And
oh, thank you.
Having your why, you know, is so key. You wrote that down and saying, you know, having, you know, 2-month goals, 3-month goals, 5-month goals, 6 months by the year 2021. so vital to have those goals, or those aspirations, and to, you know, envision it as if it manifested, it's already happened. Write it down and act as if it's already happened. And one of the things that I truly believe in, and Jay has said it before, you can do this part-time or full-time, but you can't do it sometime, right? If you want to, you know, if you want to be successful from a financial perspective. But what I want to say is that hobbies cost money, businesses make money. And so if you're doing this as a hobby, it may cost you money. And you're okay with that, and you're sharing it, that's cool. We're very grateful because you're an integral part of the mission. But, you know, if you want to make money at this, respect that it's a business. Operate it like it's a business. Implement some of the things that Carol talked about this evening. You know, daily method of operation. You know, envisioning and manifesting things. And I think those things are all things that progress us towards our own greatness, whatever that is. And, you know, you mentioned rank makers. And, you know, there's a lot of us in Vox Life that are leveraging race training and implementing race training to become better, because one of our pillars is the importance of self-improvement. We're dedicated to it. And so, you know, we've often heard it said in race training lately that the biggest room in my house is the room for improvement. And I've, you know, said that for years. And so we got to be dedicated to getting better at sharing this. And certainly, you know, having leaders like you, Carol, come on this call and step up and swing the bat. And the other thing that really resonated with me tonight that you said is the online parties. And, you know, you listen to the training, that's great. And it's just like, let's just do it. Let's just get better as we do it. And to me, I've always said, we just have to have the courage or be brave enough to suck at it for a bit, right? Just to be not the best at it. So if we're brave enough to suck at it for a bit, we will get better, no question about it. So that was a key point that you mentioned tonight, is it that you just said, I'm just going to do it. And day one is done, and day two will get better, and day three will even be better, and so on. So I encourage everybody to, you know, take Carol's advice and, you know, just do it. So thank you so much, Carol. I'm just going to go through the chat here and see, did you see any questions come through? Carol, does anybody have any questions?
You know, I should have been reading a little bit. I didn't see any questions. So if somebody has a question and we missed it, just go ahead and put it in the chat. I know I was kind of rattling on, and
you may.
And I like the other thing, like I tell everybody, I didn't do a PowerPoint because, to be really honest, like to me, it's like I'd be having to remember when to hit the PowerPoint and when to talk. I just want to talk from the heart. And then I told a friend of mine, maybe this will inspire somebody else at PowerPoint. I wouldn't say it makes me nervous, but I guess maybe I would have to say, that makes you nervous and you got a good message. Like, I didn't use PowerPoint, so maybe like we don't all have to do PowerPoint. So, but you were going to show us something. What was I going to show you? You remember what it was that I was going to show you? Leslie said you were going to show us something.
I don't
remember what it was that I was going to show you?
I don't think I remember.
Oh, okay.
But there's also somebody on here tonight. Let me just see. I'm going to go back through the chat. Where are we here? Cheryl Summerfield, possibly?
Oh, my vision. Leslie said I was going to show you my vision board. My vision board isn't done. I said if I ever get one done, I'll let you know. My vision board is in my mind and in my heart. Yeah. Part of my problem is I sold home decor at my other business, and I like everything to look pretty. And so I just don't see a vision board looking that pretty, but I need to stick it up on an office wall. But if I ever get my vision board done, I promise I'll post it on Team Vaccination. That's what you're saying. I don't have it done yet.
I'm sort of the same as you, Carol. I envision a lot of stuff in my head.
Yeah.
And, you know, and so it's really whatever works for you, for sure. But Karen Sweeney Rael, thank you for being on the call. She's new to Vox Life, and we're grateful that you're here, Karen. She said she would love to access the online party training. who offers that. So Karen, if you go to the Team Vaccination page, which I'm sure you're on, and you click on the units tab, you'll see that it opens up the units. And in unit 1, which is our recorded calls, you'll find a recording there for the training on online parties by Deanna Brown and also Carla Archer. So if you have trouble finding it, just reach out to anybody here. We'll tag you in that training, or Carol can tag you. But let's all try and connect on Facebook. Let's all support each other.
Yeah, I think Krista might have just put a Facebook group link here, and I'm guessing that's the party group. Yeah. So just look in the chat, and there's a Facebook group, but it's in the units. Actually, if you search online mock, you will see it'll pop up. Online mock, outline for online mock. If you put mock, that pops up in mine all the time. So
outline for online mock party, I think is what it is.
The thing, I'll be honest, like their training was 1 hour and 22 minutes, and I'm like, oh, that's like so long. But it's worth it if it walks you through every step. But if you kind of have a good idea of how to do groups and everything, I mean, then you go to the units and they just have every single post you need. I just personalize them. I love to do live. I'm very comfortable doing live. I like people to see and feel and hear my heart. So I'm adding live videos, but that's not necessary. Their outline doesn't include those. So yeah.
And you know what you said that was very powerful tonight too, Carol, is that we have to change. We have to be willing to change with the times.
Yes.
And you know, it's you know, as I said, you know, we have to find a silver lining in things that that we face. You know, whatever gauntlet we face, we have to be able to find that silver lining. And I tell the story. In 2006, there was a tornado came through my fishing lodge, and it was devastating here. And luckily, nobody was hurt. And there was trees all over the place down. It took me 3.5 days to cut a trail wide enough just to get out to where I had a big piece of equipment that I could clear. But I didn't want to waste some of the trees that were down. And I tried to figure out what was, you know, how could I use this? Where's the silver lining here? And so I bought a sawmill, and I cut the logs and cut all the flooring that I put in my cabins, and I put all new flooring in the cabins and the logs that were down. So with the pandemic, we've had things, those parties that we used to do, we haven't been able to do. And we've had some amazing, amazing teammates, wonderful teammates, like Carla Archer and Deanna Brown and Karen Smith and Trish Baxter and all these people stepping out to share what they've learned and to help everybody, because we're one team. There's no I in team. And as far as I'm concerned, we're all equal. I don't care about rank. Never have from day one. Don't care about rank. What I care about is, like you said, Carol, is helping people. And if we all focus on that and help people and truly, you know, embrace the fact that we want to help people, I think everything else sort of falls into place or tends to fall into place. And now if we get self-improvement going and we start to learn a little bit about business and everything, man, it becomes pretty powerful. So certainly, you know, your point on being willing to change and being open to change and, you know, be coachable. We all have to be coachable, right? And so Jay even said it in his, you know, in his programs that he looks to the advice of staff, you know, people in his business. He doesn't know it all. So just fantastic.
And the cool thing, not that there's anything good about this pandemic, I'm not saying that, but the situation that it brought with events canceling is kind of, I wouldn't say forcing, but encouraging us to use social media better. And to be really honest, if events ever start opening up, we're going to have events and social media figured out. and we can impact twice as many people. So to me, it's like when we were so broke, I would have never discovered who was inside this body had I not been forced to overcome my shyness and all the things that happen. And my kids are different kids because they grew up watching a mom that believed she could do anything she wanted to. So that was the good that came out of our financial dilemma. I believe the good, we can have good come out of a pandemic, and that will be that we have learned how to utilize social media and use that in a way. And actually my mom said today, she goes, I'm so glad you don't have to drive and go anywhere anymore. You can just do this from your home. And really, you know, that is one of the benefits. We just do it from our home now. So if we don't appreciate the good that comes out of some of these bad things, then we're just really missing it all together. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and now with my broken collarbone, I wouldn't have been able really to lug stuff in very easily. So for me, I'm probably better off right now the way I am. And that is, if you're not familiar with Rank Makers has a focus on learning how to utilize social media. And I'm only on Facebook really for the most part. And I'm just going to get better there and figure that out before I have to be on all those other ones. But they have a great way of training and teaching you that. So
yeah, and I think it's very affordable. You know, people that,
yes.
You know, and as you said, I'm just so grateful that Jay, you know, introduced us to a lot of people that, that were part of that, you know, leadership, that were gifted that by Jay's generosity. And like you said, Jay's willing to pivot too. Jay's, you know, he's willing to do everything he can to help us to succeed, to you know, help us find ways to do things better. And so we've got great leaders like, you know, like Angela Corns and like yourself. And I want to see, you know, Angie and Arnie, I know they got lots to offer too. It's just so exciting.
Yes,
for me
they do.
You know, it's so exciting to me to have people step up and offer, you know, something that will help the field. I mean, it's not just about helping, you know, customers and people out there. It's about helping our teammates too, and sharing things that are working. And you know, kudos. I want to just give a big shout out that we do have a virtual 2-day event that Paul Austin is initiating, and we've got a team of what we call our VIP team that we just are going to try and assemble and get this going. So we hope that everybody will be able to watch this virtual, because Rank Makers did an amazing job at their virtual event.
Yes, they did. Do you know, Terry, I had a team member ask me, is that 2-day event like 2 days long, or is it like long days? The one that Paul's orchestrating in November?
We're actually jumping on a call right after we get done this call.
Oh, okay.
Daryl, and we're going to nail down all the fine details. So we'll put a post in the team page at the timelines and so on.
Okay.
We want to bring really good value to the field. And so I think that, you know, being a Saturday, I believe it's going to be a Saturday, Sunday. Paul can confirm that, but we'll have all the details nailed down, because it's coming up pretty soon as well. And so
awesome.
we're going to be looking and reaching out to certain people to, you know, ask them to train and do things. But this is all new for us too. This is our first virtual event too. And so, you know, we're going to do, like you said, we're going to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks, and you know, do the best we can to bring value. But I think we are, as the field, we're all learning. I mean, look at how many people are learning how to use Zoom now. And what I'm really excited about is that our UK friends, I feel so bad for them in some cases, because we just launched the UK and 2 months later they were hit with the pandemic. And it was very, very difficult. But what I will say is that we've got some great leaders over in the UK, and I would encourage any of our North American associates to connect with the UK people, if you know they're UK people. And also, they're going to duplicate exactly what we're doing here in North America. They're going to do a training, one training a week, and then on the next week, they're going to do a Real People, Real Results UK. And so on Wednesdays is their day, Monday's our day here in North America. Wednesday's their day. It's 3:30 Eastern Standard Time for us. It's 8:30 UK time for them. So if you can get on and support our UK friends, if you can get on and reach out and become friends on Facebook, with our UK friends. They're seeing what's working for us over here, and our support to them is greatly appreciated. I know that for sure. And so I encourage you to jump on, if you can, onto those calls as well. So without further ado, I think
Hey, Terry.
Hey, Paul. How are you?
How are you, bud?
Good.
I'm good, man. So it's going to be Friday, Saturday.
Oh, Friday, Saturday. Okay. So
not Saturday. Yeah, Sunday. Yeah. So I just wanted to
13th,
say
14th,
that. 13, 14, yes.
13, 14. Okay. So Friday
the
13th and Saturday the 14th. So it'll be 2 full days. I'm assuming, you know, like maybe 10 till 4 or something. We'll hammer that out with breaks in between and so on. So that'll be posted very, very soon with an agenda and so on. And we'll get all those details nailed down as well. So we hope everybody can make it and get your teams on there as well. So if anybody has a question for Carol, wasn't she great? Thumbs up, everybody. Wasn't she fabulous today?
Oh.
Great job, Carol. Great to have
Thank you. Thank you.
Any last parting comments, Carol?
No, not at all. Just join every single learning opportunity that you can. Absolutely. Because we are, like we said, we're pivoting and we're learning, and that's how we all get better. So thanks for inviting me and encouraging me, Terry.
You're welcome. We're looking forward to you. I think everybody in the field will agree with me. We're looking forward to hearing more training from you. You're a wonderful speaker. You're a wonderful teammate, and we're grateful for what you're doing, and we all can learn from you for sure. So thanks very much, Carol, for being on. And everybody, I thank you all for taking the time out of your busy schedules. I apologize once again for getting a little trouble getting on. Sometimes up here the internet is a little shaky. In fact, I had to start my generator because I'm off the grid here. I have solar, and so my solar was almost down because we've had 3 days of rain here, and so I just don't know whether there was enough power to boot it. So I had to run up and start the generator to get it going to make sure I had power. So I apologize, but everything's figure-outable, and here we are, and it was a great call.
We would have done it without you if you couldn't have. So
that's what great teammates are all about. Just ask Kevin Dugay. He's the best. So anyway, thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. And
good night.
We'll see you all on the call. Thanks very much. I'm going to unmute everybody so that you can all say good night. Hang on 1 second. If you can all unmute.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks, Sarah.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Awesome job.
Carol.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
Good night.
night.